Hello, beautiful people. Welcome again to the International Dragon Thunder Summit 2023. And our next speaker is Galactic Ashley. She channels divine guidance of 4 Starseeds and Earth Warriors, connecting them to their star families, their dragons, and their galactic lineages. Wow. And I hand you over now to Ashley.
Hi everyone. I'm really honored to be here with all of you and the Dragon Riders and the Thunder Summit. I'm really grateful for Kevin and his beings for organizing all of this. So briefly to introduce myself, I am Galactic Ashley, and I channel divine guidance for starseeds and earth warriors, connecting them to their star families, dragon, and galactic lineages. I use light language frequencies and work with your cosmic connections to facilitate high frequency healing transmissions and encoded activations. You will be hearing some light language tonight, and there will be some high frequency healing and encoded activations. So I'm excited to be able to be here with you all through space and time. And there are also some snoring dragon dogs in the background. When I was a child, there were two beings that I worked with. The first being was George, which was a wolf that later showed me that he was a shape shifting wolf that came from a particular collective. And the second one was a dragon named Draggy, because again, I'm a child. And I worked with Draggy actually until 2 years ago. The beings like sneakily sort of took him away because I was going through a really major transition, and another being called the Triforce frequency came in, and it was this very powerful divine feminine energy that came in that I am here to embody. No problem, right? Um, so part of what Draggy was doing really was, it's not like an attachment. So he wasn't like an attachment to my system, but he was an energy that was very much a part of me. Like there wasn't a separation. It was more than just a guardian, but it's like I know myself to be, I am dragon, right? So, and that comes up in a lot of my channeling that I do, which I think I feel is really important. One of the things that came up when we were talking earlier is that there's a lot of dragons in the closet, or people that are afraid to sort of show them their dragon selves. And what that kind of pinged in me was because the beings several years ago said, you're going to go by Galactic Ashley and you're going to work with star seeds. But I talked about dragons the whole time. And I really feel that now is the time where it is actually safe to come out and to say that you're a dragon. I'm a dragon, you're a dragon, we're dragons. All when we get together, we give the dragon call. I don't know, but um, that it's safe. And a lot of the fear comes from this belief that dragon DNA and reptilian DNA are the same, or and they're not. They're not. They're completely different, right? So I believe that dragons are able to basically shift into any planetary plane with permission of that planetary body and take form and embody every element of that form. So for me, they've been hugely helpful in basically building a dragon body. So we're here to build dragon bodies, which means that it's part of the ascension process, which means that we're connecting to our multidimensional aspects, but like building scales, building a dragon heart, building these parts of our bodies so that we can really become masters of transmutation, which is what dragons are, and that we can move through these transitions and sort of really powerful shifts that are happening right now. And that isn't so much about becoming or like ditching the body or trying to leave the body, but we're really being asked, and the peace dragons came in and talked about this a while ago. We're being asked to die. Like the purpose of being human is to get really comfortable at dying over and over and over again, because we're being asked to die into more complex versions of yourself. So the idea is to die. And I'm not saying to rebirth, but also to rebirth, but there's so much fear, particularly around the Western world, and no foundation about death. So then there's fear of death, and then you're hanging on. And what if the purpose of living in this body at this time, this is just something to think about, is to die and to get really, really good at dying, so that when you actually, it is your time to leave this physical body, it is like a smooth transition. And that's not necessarily the goal, but if you're willing to die over and over again into these beautiful, far more complex versions of yourself, not that there's anything wrong with you, but you're clearing the interference between you and the divine. And my goal in this lifetime, and something, the Ouroboros dragons came in actually very intensely in 2021, July of 2021, so almost like 3 years ago, right? Or 2 years ago. Um, and they said, look around you. And they said, nothing will ever be the same again. And I've heard that before, but this was, and a lot of times that's really, like they said that before 2020 happened, right? But that one felt more collective. This one felt more personal. And I was like, please don't burn my house down. like what is happening? But one of the messages that came through, and I believe that we are both the call and the response. So what the dragons always say, and this will be in the transmission too, is as I heal, you heal. As you heal, I heal. For I am you, and you are me, and we are one. Right? So when so we are both the call and the response. So this really kind of, not a huge download, just this little tiny thing came through, which in a nutshell, it was much longer than this, but the nutshell version of it is, please dissolve everything in my life that is preventing me from intimacy with the divine. So that was such like a huge thing that I knew was going to be life altering and life changing, that I actually had to sit with it. And normally I don't sit with things for that long, because I'm like, oh, this is clear message, this is clear message, we're going forward. I sat with it for probably less than a week. And then I basically ceremonialized it in ceremonialized it. I said a thing, I said it out loud, I told a couple people, and I said it, right? So to me, we are receiving these messages from ourselves and we're responding. So we are the call and the response. And I feel like that's a really beautiful way to think about messages. I know there's a lot of people out there that fear the messages that they get, particularly challenging messages. And I just want to invite everyone that just because you receive information doesn't mean you have to do what that information says, because free will, sovereignty are really important things. You get to choose. And a lot of times it can feel more clear, maybe, if you can think about it or feel into, especially when you're being invited, if there's like an invitation, because invitations usually come in and then you accept them, and then there's usually some form of initiation that kind of happens after that. And it's a wild ride, and it's not always fun at all. And I think, not I think, I definitely know, maybe 6 months after that, I went into a very intense dark night of the soul that lasted about 3 months. And so it was a really big sort of calling, and a lot of it had to also do with these really big trauma patterns that were in my life from my childhood that I have no memory of, that needed to be recovered. So for me, I believe that the dragons are very amazing And I shouldn't say the dragons because there's millions and trillions of different kinds of dragons. The ones that I work with are called, they just call themselves the dragon consciousness, and they identify themselves as being beyond the threshold of creation. And then the divine dragons, and I kind of just lump them into the same realm. And then every once in a while in a course or something, the peace dragons will come, or the solar dragons, or Ouroboros, or some other version of that. But I usually just stay with the divine dragons slash dragon consciousness. So when I'm talking about the dragons, I'm just, and I don't like to say my dragons because I don't own them. Free outsource information, right? They're really, really, really good at working with inner children, working with trauma patterns, and they're amazing at doing going into the subconscious. And they really want me to align with my body and really the patterns of interference and real for me that are preventing me from in intimacy with the divine, because I fully know that there was a part of me that when I was saying this, I was definitely thinking I can just bypass humans and just go straight to God, right? I don't, it'll just be me and Mahana and Mayu, which are my two dogs, and Mayu didn't even exist then. She just is like 7 months old now. But it was it was like Mahana and I ride until we die, right? Like we're just not going to worry about relationships with humans, right? And the dragons are like, we have to like look at receiving, right? So if we have challenges with with people like distrust, if there are deeper levels of distrust with humans, it's going to make it really hard for me to run a business if I can't accept help or money or offerings from humans, right? So it's really beneficial to kind of like pay attention to what's going on in our body in like our somatic sensations, because that's where a lot of this stuff kind of rises up. So I know I just like by so when like so if I go back to Draggy, um he's just been with me through all of it, and I just like watching my backside. It really felt like watching my backside, and I felt like we came in like together, like there's never been a separation. And I kind of was really frustrated, even though like the Triforce frequency is like a version of me but also outside of me, is this divine feminine. I remember when she first came in, I was like, can you really protect me? And it was like she showed me like shredding just all kinds of stuff and just like 5 times the size of dragon. I was like, all right, I got the picture. But there was a part of me that it was like all the masculine energy was taken away because I really liked channeling a lot of masculine energy. It's really helpful. It's like can get things done, feels really protective, which doesn't mean that the divine feminine isn't protective. What has come through is that the divine masculine is here to protect every living thing, and the divine feminine is here to love every living thing. And you need both of those together in order to function, and we have both of those in us. And we use masculine and feminine on this planet, but it doesn't necessarily extend to everywhere else. So those are just words of balance, right? And the dragons are all about paradox, right? So um, it's not either or, it's both and. And I think that that's really, really important to remember, because we exist in a planet that is full of paradox, and in this universe in particular is very much based and built on a paradox. So it's always both and if you've ever had the experience in some altered state of consciousness, meditation or whatever, where you can stand on the threshold of feeling like life and death, like those frequencies, or really, really an ecstatic state and grief simultaneously. It's really, really, really intense. And that is what I feel that like our bodies have to be able to withstand these paradoxes, not in this pendulated way. I mean, we pendulate until we can really bring these things together, But it's not like, oh, all of this ecstasy eats the grief and it goes away. It's that they simultaneously occur at the exact same time in our bodies. And this is really how I feel that creation exists, because it's constantly dying and destroying itself and creating itself in what seems extremely and insanely chaotic, and it's not chaotic at all. Okay. So I said I was going to do some kind of transmission. So we will go ahead and do a transmission and maybe focus on, I don't know, building the body. We'll see what happens, because young old English mystic over here says the dragon said to just go for it. So we're going for it. Okay. I'm going to switch my audio over. Okay. Maybe courage to show yourselves to the world. All right. I don't need to. So, with every breath you take in, imagine that your heart is expanding. And with every breath that you inhale, we find ourselves being drawn into the center of the new earth, the earth that is, was, and will be, the earth that we know her to be. And as we find ourselves in this space, we feel the ultraviolet dragon beings drawing a flaming circle of light around us. And we know that this is the clarion call for each of you to go ahead and invite your own dragons in. And if you have yet to meet them or remember them, then this is the time to invite a lineage or a race forward that you are a part of, a family member, a dragon source that you are deeply connected to, whether you remember or know it or not. The crystalline dragon beings are here helping to facilitate your own remembrance in your body. So in this moment, connect to your bones, allow your cosmic octave to come in. The cosmic octave is the unbeaten sound, the codes of information that exist within your own field. This is who you are, your soul's signature as divine source originally intended. Oftentimes when we are in this space and in this time, we exist on this planet that has been so deeply wounded. And many of us have even experienced lifetimes where we were part of the wounding or being wounded. And this is important to remember as we are doing work and clearing parts of our own energy field as we move forward, to have no shame in what is coming up for you, no shame in the shadows, because we must bring the shadows into the light. So as you are here, we are surrounded again by the crystalline dragon beings that are connecting us to our bones. So just like these crystal bowls, our bones each make a sound, and each one of your bones is like these bowls, slightly tuned and attuned to your own nature, to your own divine ability, to your own divine history. It is your divine birthright to understand and to know your history. So as you are here, begin to feel your bones and imagine that the light and the truth is shining from the core out. Maybe you see a light language or different hieroglyphs that are imprinted on each one of your bones. Your master crystal is your sternum bone, the part that sits over and protects your heart. And maybe you find yourself touching this part of you so you can activate this bone in your being so that all of your bones come into alignment and you can invite in and feel your cosmic octave. You can think of these as your own dragon bones. Maybe you have a dragon that comes up and you can embody and merge with it and feel that if there is pain in your body, this dragon can help to shift that pain. And if there is pain in a particular part, this might be the moment to actually go into that pain part, that pain portal. Each one of these patterns of pain are telling you something. It is information. We are always able to seek information and to decide what it is we are going to do with that information. In this moment, we are calling in and we are remembering, as I heal, you heal, as you heal, I heal, for I am you and you are me and we are one. We are divine, we are self-mastered, and we are sovereign, and we are free, free from the influence of others. What does that feel like? To be in your own sovereignty, to claim your truth of being a dragon, to invite in your multidimensionality in this dragon form, to ground the multidimensionality into this physical structure, to be able to build the scales on your body, to be able to build the wings. So as you begin to feel yourself begin to transform or have a sense of an overlay of dragons merging with you, or one dragon merging with you, you are activating your own dragon body. It is not beneficial to do this all at once, but see what lights up for you. First, you might ask, what has already been built? What have I built? Have I already built scales? How many scales? And remember, this isn't a race. There is nowhere to be. There's nowhere to go. It is simply that we are accreting more light in this body so that we can ascend with this body into higher dimensional realms. And as we do this, we begin to remember that we as a human collective are the body of the emotional body. No, not the emotional body. The mental body, the thought forms. We as a human collective, when we begin to wake up as one, we begin to realize and remember that we are the thought forms of Gaia. And together with Gaia, we are being asked to become the sun, the solar logos, and we are all children of the sun. So not only are we building dragon bodies, but we are able to withstand solar frequencies that are so high that we can become the sun in this body, and we can become integral to the ascension process. So as you are here, feeling your own body, maybe with your hands still on your sternum, activating this portal part of you, this high vibrational part of you that is buzzing within you. Just have a body scan and take a sensation, take the sensations, feel your physical structure. Maybe the light is going from your feet up and down, like very fast scanning. Maybe you feel as if you have some wings. What type of wings do you have? This is a moment to explore what is being shown to you and what is coming up for you. Dai horo rasoi rasoi koi yara soru nu akira ko hariero soro Hoi, horai, humbaria shunda kayata indara hunda. Humbaria shundara shundara shumbara kunda heta. Bara hunda kayata. Yenda shandia khandara purra shandia kan. Burra shandira kanda hea kumba hea shundahan. We invite you to feel into the core of your dragon heart. What does this look like? How big can you make it? If you imagine your Taurus field, which is the positive and negative, masculine and feminine, these frequencies that come together to make your energetic fields, that these are run by the battery, the life force of your heart's frequency. As you begin to draw in the dragon frequencies of the above with this from the star nations, from the universe above, and from the core of earth and from the dragons below, we are always in this beautiful above and below balancing energies of these highly benevolent beings that are dragons, that are searching and working and holding so many frequencies and patterns and getting us to shift into the matrix, into the ascension matrix, and into these grid lines, because the earth is shifting and the grid lines have shifted, and to get off of the false matrices, because each one of us has a very particular design, a matrix in our physical structure. Our soul has a matrix, and this earth has a matrix. And when we become more aligned in integrity with who and what we are, we begin to build these dragon bodies. We can release these fragmented parts of ourselves that are sometimes finding us going back to old patterns, that are going back to the broken and the false matrix, so that these other beings, or the quote unquote dark forces, however you like to use this term, the paradox of the Christ consciousness versus the reptilian consciousness, these reptilian frequencies that are holding and feeding off of this old grid. We do not need to be on that old grid. And the more that we heal, the more that we build this dragon body, the more that we can stand in our power. And we are so grateful to be here, to be drawing in all of these dragon frequencies, because there is such a magnificent power in healing in community, especially for those that are able to gather together. But remember that there is no such thing as space and time, and all of the space and time is coming together into one moment. And as you focus on your breath always, you can remember that as you are breathing, you cannot breathe in the past and you cannot breathe in the future. You can only breathe in the now and in the ever-present moment of this now moment. And when you align in this way, and when you connect to the master crystal in your heart and to your dragon heart, you can really connect to all of your dragon family. There is a grid system that blankets beautifully, that is entwined in Gaia's grid, that is connecting all of these dragon frequencies. And no matter where you are, no matter where your feet are meeting the earth, no matter where your heart is and what you are bringing in through you, you can always reach down if you are having a challenging time grounding. And there is a dragon matrix that is this beautiful sacred geometric shape that bathes the earth. And if you ever need grounding, if you ever need help, you can always reach down and touch the ground and ask for the dragon codes, and ask for this dragon sacred geometric shape that I know that you can each feel right now, and just touch the ground. Imagine that you are just touching the ground and let it light up and show itself to you. Because when you do that, particularly when you are having doubt in yourself, we invite you into the term of faith. Because faithing, what if faithing was a verb and it was an action? And what if you were always being called into the art of faithing and having trust in yourself and faith in yourself? And when you get lost or find yourself out of integrity or out of alignment, we invite you to just touch the ground and connect to the fields of dragon energies that we are all connected to. Whether you are riding in the sky or not, many of us are still also having to walk with two legs most of us with 2 legs and an arm or so in these human bodies. We also find it beneficial as you are connecting to your dragon force, your frequencies, and the dragon families to not forget the serpent energies and the flying serpents, because these serpent energies are here to remind us of what it's like to be a dragon without wings. They are just an iteration and connected to the dragon family, and they are highly capable and highly beautiful beings that are dragons that have given up their wings so that they can be on the ground and really be on the ground, and the power that they have to rebirth themselves, to shed their skins, to feel the frequencies, the subtle shifts through their skin and their scales is so beneficial. And there is a reason why the amygdala goes crazy, and why there have been studies of infants that automatically fear the serpent. There are so many things on this planet at this time, and it's so beneficial to remember that there are programs that are placed into particular energies, into animals, into dragons, to create fear, so that you will not connect to the divine because of what something looks like, because of an alternate agenda. So we invite you deeper into your truth, into your true dragon self, into your true dragon body. And as you just feel these energies fill your system, this is an opportunity for you to ask your body what part of you needs tending to, what part of you needs attention. Maybe there's a piece on your arm that is missing a scale. Maybe you're missing a tooth. Maybe you need to remember how to breathe fire. And you can ask about boundaries. But this is the place to ask some soul inquiring questions that come up for you while the dragons are here, while you are feeling this interface with your own dragon structure. Our physical bodies carry cosmic elements that have come from the stars. We are the living embodiment of spirit in elemental form. Dragons are able to hold all elements that make up the planet they have shape-shifted into form on. This is you. You have shape-shifted into form onto this planetary structure, into this planetary system. You are little Gaian bodies that are walking around, but that are dragons that have this awareness, that have this particular templating in your structure. You have a heightened understanding of what it means to be both cosmic and of the earth. And you are here at this time specifically to be assisted by the dragons and to transmute the energies that don't align, so that you can release these densities, so that you can transmute yourself into a physical structure that is less dense as we begin to align with the new earth. So the more that we are in our bodies and invite in these dragon beings or our cosmic selves, however you would like to see and or feel this, it is beneficial for you, it is beneficial for humans, and it is beneficial for the planet. So with that, we invite you to begin to come back into the space. You can always listen to this again. Your dragon friends are always with you. Hariarakoi, Hariarakoi, Koso, Kosora, Sora, are the dragon consciousness. We are from beyond the threshold of creation, and we are grateful to be here at this time. And with that, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, and we love you, we love you, we love you. And my Mahana's in the background, still going strong with the snoring. So thank you all for being present with me at this time. I would like to say that I do also have some offerings that are coming up. If anybody resonates with that, there will be some links that are in there. One is I have a free offering with 2 really big transmissions in it from the Fire Dragons and the Solar Dragons, with a lot of writing so that you can read it, and so there will be a coupon code so that you can have access to that. And that is very much what the structure of my courses look like. And my next course is starting in September, and they're 9 weeks, and they're called Galactic Guided Intensives. And the next one is Sovereignty and the Sacred Art of Channeling. So it doesn't matter if you're already a practitioner or are already a channel, or if you're very new to it. All are welcome, and I'm able to meet everybody where they're at. I would say half the people that join are in some sort of massive transition, or they're practitioners, or they're just kind of waking up. I don't like that term. They're going through a quickening. I don't like the term waking up at all. So that is coming up. Channeling, the beings talk about channeling a lot as being one of the greatest acts of self-love. So it doesn't have to be this thing that you do where you're in front of people channeling, but that where you're really connecting with the divine, your higher self, your dragons, and you're allowing these energies to, like, you become attuned to them, and you're taking out time for yourself to connect with these multidimensional aspects of yourself. And so that's one of the reasons why they call it like your greatest act of self-love, because you're taking out time for yourself. Now, if you choose to use that in a healing sense or in any of these other ways, that's great. But it's really about having heart coherency and being able to get your own divine guidance for yourself, and then to be able to kind of process that, talk it out, and then especially like what to do when we get challenging information, like how do we work with that. We go through a process that I call soul inquiry, and all the people that show up are usually really amazing. And the next thing that I have, if you want to practice psychic development with a group, I don't have this on my website yet, but it will be there by this weekend. It is, I think I'm calling it Psychic Summer Fun Fest, and you have the opportunity to meet twice a week on Tuesdays and or Thursdays. For 90 minutes, I'll be doing a 30-minute transmission, and then everybody's going to do tell you what we're doing. And then you're going to go into breakout rooms, and then you'll be practicing with other people so that you can just fine tune. We won't be doing mediumship. It will all be psychic oriented with a lot of different psychic games. And I feel for myself, I like to do practice circles because it's always just good to sharpen the tools and to get new tools to put in your box. So yeah, that's what I have going on. And I also do sessions and things. But I invite you to go to my website at galacticashley.com or follow me on Instagram at galacticashley.activates. That was the final send out.